Welcome to Black Boss, where we highlight and celebrate entrepreneurship in the Black community. My name is Michelle. I'm your host. And today I have with me owner of Cultivated Bohemians, Plants, Wellness, and Lifestyle Studio, located at 424 West Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, Miss Jasmine Stewart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for being with me today, this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Not a problem. I'm excited as well. I see you already have your tea there. You also have tea products as well, right?
I do, and I kind of start the morning like I cannot even get my day going without having tea. So
I hear that. I hear that. So, what is Cultivated Bohemian, and how did you get started?
yeah, so we are a plant shop. It's like a plant shop, a wellness shop. Sometimes we have pop-ups. We are just a little bit of, I guess, everything that kind of centers around Black women and our self-care. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. I was looking through your Instagram and I saw that at some point in the beginning you were in Brooklyn, but I know of you to be in Northern Liberties in Philly.
Yeah.
So what's the story of Brooklyn?
Yeah, so really interesting. When I first so probably 3 years ago, I was like, I'm going to start doing like vintage pop-ups. And honestly,
Okay.
Cultivated Bohemians was first attached to that because I was living in Brooklyn and there's like a ton of really cool thrift stores and vintage shops. And I got into like going to a bunch of different ones and collecting a whole bunch of clothes. So the
Yeah.
plan was to do vintage pop-ups in Brooklyn. Space is expensive. So it was really just going to be pop-ups like on the weekends.
Gotcha.
When the pandemic happened, I got laid off. So when I was doing that, I had a
Okay.
full-time job. I got laid
Gotcha.
off. COVID happened. The world got weird, and
Yeah.
randomly it was like, well, what else can I do? Like I have this kind of business that I never really got going because I was so busy with my job. I was like, well,
Right.
what did I do with it? So I had been making teas. I've been making teas for a long time, and it's just something
Okay.
that I like to do as like a hobby. And I was like, oh, I
That's
could do
awesome.
teas. I was like, I could completely like have use this name and just do teas instead of like vintage stores because the other thing was I couldn't really source vintage clothes anymore because all the warehouses were closed, all the stores were
Gotcha.
closed. And I was like, well, maybe things that are kind of like more applied to things that I'm doing at home.
Mhm.
So there were teas, there was candles, there was incense. It was a whole lot of everything, and
Okay.
I was like, I don't know like what direction to go in.
Gotcha.
I was looking at spaces, and I was like, well, one day I'm gonna have a space, and I said I'm gonna
Mhm.
go, like I'm gonna price things out and just see how much like things cost online. I was on
Right.
Craigslist and I came across this space and I was like, oh, I should go look at it. So this is the kind of person I am. A lot of
Okay.
times like, I'll have this small idea and the next thing you know, I'm like full force. I'm like, how did I get here? What
Got
happened?
you. You're an entrepreneur.
Like I randomly, I was like, okay, let's go check out this space. And at the time, my boyfriend, he was like, all right, well, let's drive to Philly and just go look at it and see what
Mhm.
you think.
Yeah.
I came and looked at the space, and the price was so good on it that I was like, I'll take it. Like it was just,
Okay.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what this is gonna be,
Yeah.
but I'll take
I'm
it.
locking the space in.
I was like, I'm gonna get the space, and
Yeah.
that was in March of last year. So
Okay.
I had the space in March, and I want to say, goodness, in probably about May, after I'd had it for 2 months, I was like, okay, I probably should start thinking about what I'm gonna do there. Um,
Okay.
I came back down, I saw it again, and I was still living in Brooklyn. I saw it again, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
this window is huge. I could bring all my plants here. And
Yeah. Okay.
at first, I was just like, I'm just going to start decorating. I'll just bring all of my plants.
Uh-huh.
Slowly, that turned into, well, what if I sold plants? Like, what if this?
Wow. How organic. Yeah. That's a very organic, progress.
Like a really like it was just like a random transition. We were like at the store one day and I was like bringing plants in and I was like, I could really make this a plant shop and we could do
Yeah.
this. And my boyfriend was like, all right. he was like,
I
he was like,
suppose you could.
I suppose you could, yeah. But it just so happened that we had a friend in Brooklyn that owned
Okay.
one of the first Black-owned nurseries there.
Oh,
And
wow.
when he like texted her and was like, "Hey, can we come by and just like talk to you?" So came in, she was like, sit down, start learning something. Cause
Right.
when I first met her, I had met her about a year before that. And I told her, I was like, one day when I'm an old lady, I'm going to own a coffee shop and a coffee and flower shop. And that's how we started talking about her nursery before. And
Gotcha.
she was like, I know this is about something you're going to do. So sit down and I'm going to teach you how it goes and what to do. And here I am.
That's so cool. I love that story.
That's my long-winded, crazy story. Maybe one day I'll have vintage clothes. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was like a very organic pivot on all things that kind of were flowing into my life, like things that just like how my home functioned, basically. Like what I was doing was, like I said, I was like buying a bunch of vintage clothes, decorating my house, and getting like that's just happening. Space kind of feels like you're in my living room. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's really, really cool. So you've said that your mission is to create a space where Black wellness is the centerpiece and Black makers, creators, and healers are celebrated. So what connection can you speak to between plants and Black mental health?
So for me, I have like very severe anxiety. Like it's so bad. I get panicky about all kinds of stuff. Like I think that that's something that a lot of Black women especially deal with. A lot of Black people deal with. So it's just like, and it's a lot of it comes from how we're treated outside. So, and we kind of like, like we come home and we need to take care of ourselves. Things that are like, I feel like we need to like have more things that are like making us feel better and kind of like helping with that anxiety. For me, it was plants. Like I liked taking care of something. It was relaxing. You can't rush it. Plants they teach you patience. So you can water it all day long and move it in spots, but it's gonna grow as fast as it's gonna grow. So I did teach you a lot of patience. I also think that it's just nice to have some life in your home. So for me, that was like very, especially when COVID started, I think for everybody, it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do here? Like I'm stuck in the house. So bringing some of like the outside in was like, I think that's like the main thing for me with how it connects to self-care and mental health is just like having something that you're taking care of, something that's bringing life to your home, things that are bringing joy. Like you can't be mad taking care of your plants. That should be very relaxing. So,
I mean, just the process. I suppose you're right, and I love the that you have to have patience in order to do it, because I feel like patience is such a lesson in life as well. And speaking of anxiety, because I have my own battles with anxiety as well, but remembering patience is a great way to combat anxiety, because a lot of times you just feel like you're so all over the place and maybe you didn't do enough, or maybe this happened.
When we were in Brooklyn, everything moves so fast in New York. Everything is constantly going. So for me, it was like being able to come home, take care of my plants, have tea, like just like take everything slowly.
Slow down.
Just to slow down.
Slowing down definitely helps. That's awesome. So could you tell us about, I guess, the wellness part, your wellness studio? Do you have it?
Yes, I can. So I think that like I guess there's two things. Right now, wellness, we kind of center more around wellness products. Like I do like custom herbal blends with teas. We also have teas that help with like postpartum. We have teas that help with like stomach problems, digestive issues, just also like mood boosters. We have a detox tea that's going to release soon. So it's like more centered around products right now. If you've ever been in here, the back is like a big curtain behind me, and this was really supposed to be like the wellness area of it, but what happened is that COVID. So and my son comes with me most of the time, so it's like now it kind of functions as where he goes to school.
Okay, got you.
Eventually, we want to do a lot more like wellness workshops where we're talking about self-care. We're talking about, we can even do like plant workshops, that kind of thing, like and how it relates to self-care and how it relates to wellness. But we want to have somebody come and do like sound bowls and Reiki sessions. So all that. Yeah.
Well,
the wellness part we're still like building on, though. It's just a matter of getting the back open.
Yeah, well, I can say that one, I think that's a fantastic idea. I think it's needed. And not only that, like I said, my best friends frequent your shop. So so they would love, that's right up their alley. They would love to be a part of something like that. So that's a very small sample size that I can give you as people, but just as encouragement. I think you're on the right track with that.
Definitely. And we like I really want the environment to feel relaxing. Like even when you
Mhm.
come in now, when people come in and shop and buy plants, I want it to be a different experience where like this is my coming to there is self-care. Like I want to go there and buy
Right.
plants and relax, listen to like good music. Like we always like
Yeah.
to have like the music playing and like
Mhm.
oh it smells good. Like I want it to feel really good in here. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, from what I have seen, I'm about to say of your shop, yeah, I think that you guys capture that well. With all the plants around, like you said, you had that big window in the front, so it's natural light, and yeah, it has that oasis. Little fingers, it has that oasis feeling.
The computer charger is take the one out my book bag. I'm sorry, take the one out
You're
my book
fine.
bag.
You
And
are fine.
look in the back, look in your book bag, look in Daddy's book bag. Okay, we'll get it in a second. I'll find it for you. Okay. I'm so
The little one.
yes. If you can have all the candy if you go back there and sit down. Thank you. Share it with your brother. Oh God. Share it.
You're okay. You're fine. Fine.
Okay.
So where did your love of plants and wellness come from?
Oh yeah. So my grandmother always had a
Mhm.
ton of plants and a ton of flowers. Like
Yeah.
that was just like her whole. I feel like, and she's the one that raised me too. So I always grew
Okay.
up with grandma, and she was making me take care of her plants and drag her flowers over here and be in the garden. So I think that is mostly where it came from.
Okay.
And then as like an adult, it was always just something that like I wouldn't know the names of it. I would just pick up plants and have them in my house, or I would always go and buy
Yeah.
plants.
What
Okay,
in
so
the name of Micah, what are you doing?
sorry. Eat this. You can take the apple pie. There you go. She did not like candy. So it just came from so yeah. So I would go and buy plants and I would just bring them. I wouldn't know the name. I wouldn't know how to care for them. I would just
Right.
bring them to my house because they were pretty. And I was like, okay. And I'd figure out how to take care of them along the way. But I think that's
Okay.
it's just like it was always something that was like something I liked, something I wanted to that I was into, but I didn't know it was like a whole world of like grow lights, names, collections. I had no idea.
Okay. I was say once you got into it, was like a world opened up to you.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
was like, so it's crazy when I thought about like having plants in here, and I still
mhm.
did not know. I was like, I hope people want to buy plants. I mean, I
Right.
like to go to stores and buy them for my house, so I
Yeah.
hope it works. But I was like researching, and I was like, oh, this is like a whole thing. People are really into plants.
Yes.
I was like, I thought
Absolutely.
it was just me. I honestly like I'm not. I was never into like social media and like being
Okay.
like, I just was not one of those people. I'm very like
Yeah.
quiet and kind
I
of
get you, Jasmine. I get the vibe. I
yeah,
get the vibe, sis.
very kept to myself. So
Yes.
I had no idea that this was a whole thing. Like somebody was like, "Oh, you got to get into like the plant group." So I was like online one day and I was like, "Oh, people have plant Instagrams
Yes.
and so I was like, "Oh, this is a thing." So
This is a thing.
I had no yes, it was like a whole world to me that opened up. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow." Mm. It can be
That's
crazy.
awesome. I was gonna say that's even cooler because so much of what's in your shop is so naturally you, and it is just where people are at right now, which is incredible. Like,
Yeah, I really had no clue this was, was a thing.
yeah, that's
Okay.
very cool. So, this is actually a question from my best friend who I said was excited about this interview. She was wondering about your plants. I guess the plant nursery. What's the process like
Oh,
going to locate it?
so that was probably the most unexpected thing when I started this was how much footwork that it would be.
Okay.
I was before this, I was doing like digital product for IT companies. So I'm used to being at a desk
Okay.
and like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I am never at a desk. I am always like at growers. So the process is that normally I will find some growers that I like, research kind of like what they're about, what their growing process is.
Okay.
Go there on site and see what it looks like.
Gotcha.
And that it's like the kind of nursery that I would want to work with. I like to look at like, like what are their, like, do they have a lot of bugs? Are there, like that, like, are there some good So then after that, I go there. I physically drive to most of the places. So there's places that are like 4 or 5 hours away. We will drive.
Wow.
We've picked the plants ourselves. And
then
back here, it is a long.
It's a process.
Normally we'll get like the list of availability and like what they're gonna have. That's never true. Like when we get them, it's always it looks good, but then I want to go there and I'll go and see it.
Right.
And then eventually, like, you build relationships with certain ones and they'll deliver to us. But that is what the process looks like. It's like normally, I think right now we're open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday and Wednesday is when we are spending time at growers and talking to them, getting plants in and figuring out what's going to be coming in. And like right now, I can look at what's coming in like August. So
oh wow,
yeah, like you get like a list of like everything that's going to be available and hope that it's healthy and hope that it comes in. So it's always like when people ask me to find certain plants, I'm like, I could do it, but you gotta give me a little time. It depends on what it is, but yeah, that is the process. It's quite
okay.
I had no idea.
Wow.
I was like, I'm just gonna go. Like when I first started, I was like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna pick up plants and that's it. Like it'll be so. I don't know, it's not easy. But I was lucky because the woman in Brooklyn that we knew kind of told me, like it was like right before I started, she warned me, like she's like, this is not like a sit down and relax kind of.
You're gonna be moving.
Like, there's days like if you ever come down Girard Avenue on like a Monday or Wednesday, you will see me double park, like moving huge things of plants and we're always blocking the street on Monday and Wednesday. So sorry to whoever comes back.
Whoever you're blocking. They'll be okay. So yeah, that's cool. That sounds like a cool experience in general. Is it difficult running a business where what you're selling is in constant risk of dying?
So hard, yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody who they could speak to that experience.
Like you got to move it or your product could die.
Right.
It's so I think there's two ends of it. There's like the business end and then there's the end of like physically what that is like. Here we really like on average most plant shops lose about 30% of their inventory like within that first year because we're constantly trying to keep all of this stuff alive. So there's the things that I don't do is like I try not to get a whole bunch of stuff and not be able to keep it alive because I'm always worried about like the health of the plants that I'm selling. So so I think that's probably how I mitigate the fact that there is a huge risk in selling things that could die. And now on the physical end, we are here every day. Like there's not a day I can miss because one day could mean that those 10 plants over there are not getting watered and they will die. So it's definitely hard. But I think the good thing is that I really love doing it. So like I run out of plants to take care of at home. So I'm like, I'll go to the store and take care of the ones here. I do try to make sure that ones I keep at home are easy because I'm like, I already have enough things that I don't want to die at the store. But it's definitely, it was a new thing to me because I guess when I first started, I was wanting to do clothes and then it moved into like teas, things that were not going to die after a couple days. So it's definitely a new challenge in doing things that could potentially perish after a day. We definitely always tell people when they're like, oh my God, I got this and it died. I'm always like, we have killed several ourselves. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel bad.
You gotta learn.
Yeah, you gotta learn somehow. We have definitely killed things in here. Normally,
Yeah.
there's a little clearance section of things that are on their last leg.
Right.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So if there's one benefit to owning plants you wish Black people knew, what would it be?
That is not. I guess. Let me see. Wait. What's the question again?
Let me go back. If there's one benefit to owning plants you wish Black people knew, what would it be?
One benefit to owning plants that I wish Black people knew. I think how relaxing and easy it is. Like a lot of times, I feel like I grew up in like one of those houses where we didn't have a lot of hobbies. It was like,
Okay.
I feel like a lot of times, like there's not, we don't have a lot of our parents are working and we are, like we're always on the go just as people.
Yeah, it's so funny you just said that. I literally just had this conversation about hobbies with somebody.
Yeah, like, I feel like white people have a lot of hobbies.
I agree.
And we don't always I feel like we don't always pick up hobbies as much as we should. So relaxing, and I love that I'm seeing so many Black people, Black men, Black women. Like I love it that they are like really into plants. They got grow lights set up.
Yeah.
I think that is so dope, and it's so relaxing, and it's just something that like you can teach your kids about, and they can, like my son takes care of his own plants. Like I think that, and it also teaches our kids a certain amount of like responsibility, and just like also like my son doesn't want plants to die. Like he has a respect for like other living things around. I feel like that's like there's certain benefits that we don't think about until you like you're actually in it. You're like, oh, okay. Like, my son, like he's very conscientious. Oh, that plant.
Yeah.
You gotta water it.
But just learning to be in tune with something other than yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, no, that's amazing. And that's not something that, I would have necessarily thought about, but, sharing that about your son and kind of viewing it through his eyes, it's a great way to teach, attunement to something else, or just teach empathy for other living things as a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in entrepreneurship, we know that it's a road like this. So what do you feel have been your biggest wins and biggest losses, which I always say are lessons, because entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So when we lose, we learn. That's how we learn. So what do you feel during Cultivated Bohemian, or even before, and other things that you've ventured at?
So I think my biggest, I guess losses first, because I think that's an easier place to start. I think my biggest losses were probably taking too long to pivot. I always am like, now, if I see something going left and I'm like, oh, you need to bring it back, I'm like, okay, bring it like now.
Now.
So when I first got the space, like I was saying, I got it in, let's say like March or April, and I didn't open until August. And I sat and I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I don't know today. There was days where I didn't feel like it. I just took a long time to pivot. And I think that was my biggest loss, is that I'm a procrastinator just in general when it comes to certain things. But I think you can't, but I also think in general, like a lot of times we have ideas in our head and we want to stick to it, and we don't, like, pivoting is scary. And it's definitely, it was a scary thing when I was thinking, especially like we were talking about other living things. I'm like, oh boy, now I'm keeping most of my plants at home alive, but now I gotta think about
in this whole other location.
So I think just not being like afraid to pivot was like, or being afraid to pivot was probably one of my biggest losses. I want to say my biggest win, you know what? My biggest win is probably being able to pay rent every month. Like, it's so,
that's a win, girl.
Because I came from like a corporate environment where I'm used to every other week my paycheck is deposited. I know where it's coming from. I can pay everything. So every month I am excited when I can keep the store going, pay rent, and live life. And I do not have I don't have my corporate job anymore. So I'm like, I'm actually living. So that is like, and my kid is living. This is good.
Yeah.
I feel like that has been a big win. I honestly, the other big win has been being able to bring so many women together, especially Black women, and meeting so many new people that are like, I don't have a ton of friends because I am so quiet. Like I'm very like, I'm like,
why? Yeah, I don't blame you.
I've had the same friends forever. So I think being able to connect with so many women and meet so many new people that I can call friends is like so dope to me, where I'm like, oh wow, like I'm not super social, so this is like great to meet so many different women. Like that is a win when you are having other women connect in here is like so cool. People are like meeting and like talking about their businesses, and I love that. Like I think that's been a big win. Like just being able to, like when I first got the space, I'm sorry, I'm choking. When I first got the space, sorry, I swallowed the wrong way. But when I first got the space, I really was like, I want to somehow celebrate us and make sure that we're connecting in here. And it's a space where we feel comfortable. I love all of my customers, everybody that comes, I'm so appreciative, but it was made by a Black woman for other Black women. And it's a space where we're celebrated and we're comfortable and we're networking, and I love that. And I think that's a big one. So
I love that too. And I'm happy that, no pun in the name, but cultivating that within, within the community of Black women, because it's incredibly necessary, and just having a conversation and having those safe spaces to support and love on one another is it's necessary to the mental health.
Positivity in here.
right, absolutely. That's great. So for anyone looking to move within the space of Black wellness or plants in general, what advice would you give them?
I think just staying true to yourself, like making sure that it feels like you no matter what. Like when I think a lot of people try to fit into what they see other people do as far as wellness, and I think it's really just like staying true to you. Like, I mean, you can come in here any day, and I'm a lot of different people. I'm hood and holistic and all that. So here, and you might hear Meg the Stallion, but I'm burning candles and incense, and you can buy
my type of vibe.
So I think just like making sure that it always is true to who you are. So
that's awesome, and I think that's great advice. So thank you, Jasmine. It's been so much fun you being here.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed the conversation. I'm so excited about what you have going on. I'm so excited, about your vision and you being at the head of it. And I just feel like, your space is going to be a fantastic point for a lot of people to connect, a lot of people to heal in their own way, to be able to sit still, have a safe space. And thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I'm done.
Oh no, he's totally fine. I'm about to say he's in the Black Boss family. That's how it goes. It's entrepreneurship.
Yes,
for sure. Which is also a blessing of entrepreneurship. Being able to have the freedom and time to be so present.
Definitely, especially with everything that's going on in the world. It's like I couldn't have went back to my corporate job if I wanted to because I have to go with me all the time now. So it's like
Gotcha. Oh, there's two things I need you to do for me. First one, please tell the people where they can find you.
We are on Instagram at Cultivated Bohemians, and we are on 424 West Drive. So
Awesome. In Philly. So you're now a Philly resident. So I'm sure you've been welcome before, but welcome.
so much. I'm getting used to it. I love it though. So
Yeah, I'm glad. We're happy to have you. I
thanks.
mean, you're already impacting the community clearly, because when I tell you they've been waiting. They're like, when do you interview Jasmine? We're like, here we go.
Tell them to come by and see me.
Oh, absolutely, and they will, and they have. So the second thing I need you to do is, it's Black Boss tradition. I have everybody say their name and say that they're a Black boss.
Oh, I'm Jasmine Stewart, and I'm a Black boss.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your energy. I was about to say your light shines off of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really enjoy talking to you. So please enjoy the rest of the Sunday.
Yes.
Take care. About to say, have fun with your son.
I'm another cup of tea. That's what I'm about to do.
Make yourself another cup of tea.
Thank you.
Excellent. And take care. I was about to say, I want to buy some plants soon too. So when the weather warms up and we're not in all the snowy stuff,
yes, come back.
I'll be there, girl.
Thank you. Have a good Sunday.
You as well. Have a great Sunday.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, that has been Jasmine Stewart. I like Jasmine. What she say? She playing Meg Thee Stallion in the store, burning candles and incense. That is my type of vibe. I dig that. So please, if you're in the shop, the market, there you go. If you're in the market for plant buying, please go check out Jasmine down at Cultivated Bohemian. And on Girard Avenue in Northern Liberties in Philly. The shop is awesome. It's in a real nice space, lots of foot traffic, real cool vibe. She picked a terrific location, and from Brooklyn, via Brooklyn. Very happy to have Jasmine in Philly. And like I said, my friends frequent her shop, so they were excited about this interview. So I'm excited that I was able to bring it to them. This has been awesome. I wish nothing but the best for Jasmine. I'm so happy she's out here caring about the wellness of other Black women in general, but like she said, specifically Black women, and creating that space for Black women to connect and thrive and discuss mental health and discuss their own personal growth and all those things. I think that's incredibly important. And I love that she not only finds it important, but has stepped out to bring what's naturally inside of her to the outside for other people to share in that experience. So Jasmine, thank you, ma'am. I hope the best for you, sis. I really, really do. This has been Black Boss. To see Jasmine's full episode, please go to Black Boss. Well, not yet, because we're still in the episode, so I got to put it up later. But check out Black Boss Certified on YouTube. Check us out at Black Boss Certified on Facebook, and also follow at BlackBoss_certified on Instagram to continue the celebration of Black entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Michelle. Thank you again to Jasmine, and I'm out of here. Peace.